Welcome back, guys, to Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney, where we have come to a crossroads with the investigation after finding out that Miss Angel Starr was not in B block, she was in A block in the security room, and now that makes a vital difference, but what does it change was our thing, and at the end of last episode we were definitely saying it's the distance to the crime that's most likely the issue here. It's not just an issue of climbing over a fence, it just changes angles all over the place. I'd say it's a bit longer away than where she was before as well, personally. Angle of view to the crime is something we've already covered. Difference in lighting is silly. So distance to the crime continues us on in the case. Let's get moving. Hopefully, anyway. It changes the distance between her and the scene of the crime.
Objection!
My condolences, Mr. Wright, but one look at the floor plans and it's quite clear. The distance between the scene of the crime and the guard station is 30 feet. I don't see how that would change what she could see.
Objection!
What she saw is not in question here. What matters is the time it would take her to reach the scene of the crime. Miss Starr, you witnessed the crime from the security guard station. Now, how long did it take you to go from there to the scene of the crime where you arrested Miss Skye? Well, witness, Yes? You ordered the squid wheels, right? The quality of my lunches has gone from low to inedible. I was bringing a PB&J lunch with fresh boysenberry jam to my boyfriend. Were you now? Boysenberry for the boyfriend. He wasn't in the station, so I waited. I witnessed the crime from the glass-walled station. And before I knew what I was doing, I found myself running towards the scene. But the door was locked. I couldn't open it. So that's why the photo was taken from behind the grill. I think we did examine that door, didn't we? Oops, maybe I should remember some more facts here. That's why I had to go through the visitors' parking in B block. Well, thanks for reminding me that that door was locked. That's quite a detour. Indeed it is, which explains why the photo was taken from behind, and that's not the scene of the murder, it's definitely after, of course. It probably took me at least 5 minutes to get to the scene of the crime. 5 minutes? That's a lot of time for Lana to escape. This changes things considerably. But it was that woman over there in the defendant's chair who stabbed him. I know it. I have photographic evidence. I swear it. I swear it on my finest plastic spork. You have a point, and the spork is a wonderful invention. Would you like another caviar lunch? Absolutely. Uh-oh. Mr. Wright, you have to do something. Do I have any evidence to stop this? Raise an objection or sit back and observe. I don't really know that I've got anything to really complain about here. Well, no, I'll raise an objection. I'll say to the fact that she could have escaped in that time. Why didn't she?
Objection!
That's what I'm hoping I'll say anyway. 5 minutes between the witnessing of the murder and the arrest. Think about it. You could make pasta in that amount of time, if you like it al dente. I've got lunchboxes to tie pasta into knots, rookie. A 5-minute blank. Isn't that strange? Strange? If you were a criminal, what would you do with 5 minutes, Your Honor? Well, I guess I'd flee the scene. Hey, don't get the wrong idea. I didn't kill anyone. But you have the instincts of a killer. You would run. But this time was different. Miss Skye dawdled at the scene of the crime. She even had her picture taken. No true criminal would act this way. It's inconceivable. Yeah! Again. Stop dropping your lunches. Someone clean that food up. Well then, it seems we've come to the end of this testimony. The witness has a grudge against the defendant and a blank in her testimony. Mr. Edgeworth is the next witness ready to go. Unfortunately, I appear to have overestimated this witness on account of her professional history. We did it! We screwed that can shut, Mr. Wright! That was too close. I'm afraid that the cough-up queen has been dethroned. And with that, court is adjourned. Really? It's you. Mr. Edgeworth, you ordered the squid reels, right? That's the one she tried to foist off on me. I prefer to not take the defense's team's leftovers. Anything else to say? I might be able to save you. I have decisive evidence. What? What was that? Is this another one of her trick lunchboxes? My apologies, but we will have no further questions to ask of you, Miss Starr. Ah. Is this your jumbo lunchbox? Woohoo! A triple-decker! Out of deference to the witness's determination, I'll allow one more testimony. Let's hear about this decisive evidence. Like the Lunchland motto says, you won't be disappointed. What's she going to pull out of her lunchbox this time? I should have mentioned those 5 minutes when I wasn't looking at the crime scene. And now, to the matter of the victim's shoe. Did I not bring this up? 2 types of blood were found on this shoe. One was of course the victim's. And the other blood type matches that of the defendant, Miss Lana Skye. This shoe proves it. It's flawless decisive evidence. Blood from both victim and supposed killer. And the annoying thing is that memory states that we know that Lana Skye has a wound. So, What? There was blood found in that shoe? Try Lunchland for all your lunch and decisive evidence needs. Objection! Witness, what's the meaning of this? Why is this the first time I've heard of this evidence? Simple, as I've already said. I don't trust you with evidence, Mr. Edgeworth. That's why I took the liberty of investigating this myself. And? You had blood tests performed? Didn't I mention? I have 3 boyfriends in forensics. 3? In any case, Your Honor, I can't accept this as evidence. What? You must know the 2 rules of evidence law. Rule 1, no evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department. In other words, this shoe is illegal evidence, at least for the time being. Is that right, Mr. Wright? It seems so. Edgeworth sure is celebrating. Not so fast, Mr. Edgeworth. Don't forget, I used to be a detective. As I mentioned previously, the shoe has already been tested by a member of the forensics department. As you can see, it was approved by the police department as of today. Even the general public can produce official evidence, Mr. Edgeworth. Is that right, Mr. Wright? It seems so. Edgeworth is looking pretty sullen. You could at least study some evidence law. Really? Indeed, I probably could do with doing that. The prosecution's complaints notwithstanding, it appears that this evidence satisfies the first rule of evidence law. However, it seems you have yet another count against you, witness. Anything to ensure that the guilty are properly judged. Okay, then the victim's shoe is added to the court record. Is this one a 3D object by any chance? Please be, because we've got lots of pictures lately. Very well, Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness. May I? Well, first of all, let's check. And it is a 3D one. So over here, we've got lots of blood. More blood. That's a bit weird that it's on one side of the shoe and not the other. You'd thought the blood would be pooling under this side. Let's have a look quickly. This blood, it's my sister's, right? It appears so. Lana's right hand was bandaged when I saw her in jail. She must have cut herself at the time of the crime. Poor sis. Yeah, she's pretty stuffed at this moment, you gotta say. Right, we got more blood back here. Ah, there's blood here too. On the sole of the shoe. It's gotta be the victim's. He must have stepped in a puddle of his own blood. All this blood. It's horrible. This blood might be an important clue. I think it might be indeed, which is why I instantly went to check this out. New evidence that wasn't a picture? Sounds good to me. I wonder when the phone will actually be a good bit of evidence here. But here we move on. Decisive evidence indeed. I should have mentioned those 5 minutes when I wasn't looking at the crime scene. Yes, you should. Why did you lie about those 5 minutes? I guess you could say I just wanted people to look at the results. The results? How many times do I have to say this? I saw the chief prosecutor stab the victim before my very own eyes. Compared to that, a 5-minute blank means nothing. Then why didn't you just tell the truth? Don't make me laugh. We're dealing with the most untrustworthy of the vile lot known as prosecutors. Falsified evidence, arranged testimonies, erasing and manipulating evidence. When you fight monsters, you need to use every trick in the book. This, when the suspect is admitting she did it? But false testimony is the most despicable crime of all, Miss Starr. Let's just get this over with. And now, to the matter of the victim's shoe. Did I not bring this up? No! And you found this shoe at the scene of the crime? I detained the chief prosecutor and notified the police department. I wanted to make myself useful while I was waiting for the police to arrive. So, like an ill-trained pooch who snuck off with a shoe! I was afraid someone would erase the chief prosecutor's crime. This shoe was my secret weapon if that should happen. See this fashionable basket I have here? It carries more than lunchboxes, gentlemen. I'm happy for you and your lunchbox bag, really. In any case, you removed valuable evidence from the scene of the crime. Now tell us what you did next. 2 types of blood were found on the shoe. One was, of course, the victim's. So, you brought it to the forensics department? If you're going to submit something as evidence in court, you need it approved. To do that, evidence must be analysed by a forensics expert. I just randomly twigged during that kind of thing there. We can't see... No, we can see the floor. This is an incredibly bloodless crime around the whole area. One of the things we noticed at the start anyway. But if he stepped in blood or puddle of his own blood, then there should be blood on the floor. What's going on here? By a forensics expert indeed. And she got away with her little coup because she used to be a detective. The shoe does appear to have bloodstains on it. Well, the man was stabbed after all. And that blood belonged to the victim, Detective Goodman. As I said, there were 2 types of blood found on the shoe. And the other blood type matched that of the defendant, Miss Lana Skye. You can't say for sure the blood belonged to the defendant with a blood test. You claim to know something about blood tests, rookie? Huh? Well, speak up! Well... Blood comes in 4 types, A, B, O, and AB. However, you can't tell from a blood test whether a murder was committed in cold blood. Poor Wright. That's just a figure of speech, Mr. Wright. Actually, we can differentiate between millions of types with all the blood tests out there. Which means that we can more or less narrow any sample of blood down to just one person. Or so I hear. That's pretty specific. If I had a little more time, I would have gotten DNA test results. But they said there's very little doubt it could be anyone's but Miss Lana Skye's. So the suspect's blood was found on the victim's shoe. That ties her directly to the death of Detective Goodman. I was afraid he was going to say that. This shoe proves it. It's flawless, decisive evidence. Yeah, but I think there's more points to it here. So should I present the shoe to this statement? Considering it's such a... what do I say? Provocative statement. It seems like a direct challenge. Maybe I should press it first, but I'm going for a strike. No music changes worrying. The witness's statement is clearly faulty, Your Honor. Oh no, it's a strike. I'm sorry, but I can see nothing faulty. Unfortunately, I will have to penalise you, Mr. Wright. Well, that was rubbish. I must be on the wrong track. No, I think I'm on the right track here. Maybe I've got to press first. Maybe I should have just pressed rather than get a strike. I can't let this evidence go through without a fight. You ordered the peppered fish guts, right? Some like it hot, Mr. Wright. Some like your client. She's in enough hot water to make a whole vat of soup. Mr. Wright, do or don't you have a problem with his shoe? A problem? I do. This is critical. Is there a problem with the victim's shoe? I hate This game, sometimes, that strike was completely undeserved. There's a problem with this shoe. I have a problem with it. If I'm not imagining things, I'd say there is one critical problem with this evidence. A clear contradiction. That gleam in your eyes. You're still young, rookie. I'd give you a peppered fish gut now. But you couldn't take the heat, could you? Let's hear what Mr. Wright has to say. What is contradictory about the victim's shoe? Show us the problem with this evidence. Okay then, our problem is this bit here, which I came to the right conclusion of, and then presented it at the wrong time. I wonder if you noticed. There's blood on the bottom of this shoe. Don't mess with me, rookie, or it'll be your blood on the bottom of my shoe. Getting a bit rough. Indeed, there is quite a bit of blood on the bottom of the shoe. It makes sense. The victim was stabbed with a knife. What could possibly be contradictory about blood on the bottom of this shoe? Uh-oh. Do we go with the parking lot floor plans? That's just plans. Or the crime scene photo? It's the fact that the crime scene was more or less bloodless. The problem lies in the footprint. The footprint? Note that the bottom of the victim's shoe is covered in blood. Then, isn't it strange? Why weren't any bloody footprints found by the scene of the crime? Aha! As you can see, there were no traces of any such footprints at the scene of the crime. That contradicts your claim about this shoe! Objection! The picture only shows part of the floor, so there could have been bloody footprints. Objection! Then where are they, Mr. Edgeworth? Because we checked the scene and found nothing of the sort. I didn't deserve that strike. Judge, give me it back. Order! 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 Well, witness. What? Huh? Great going, Mr. Wright, but it's true that the lack of a footprint is a contradiction. But then we have to ask why there wasn't a footprint. Oh, that's true. There has to be a reason why there wasn't a footprint. Think, Mr. Wright, think. Hey, I don't know why it's not there. I'm just good at finding contradictions. What? I've got this really weird theory in my head. I see. Now I get it. Get what? Our witness is more devious than I gave her credit for. By the way, I'm just not going to say the witness in case it is spoilers or anything like that. I'll put up this and say, if you get my meaning, this is my theory. It's very vague, but I hope you get it. Our witness is more devious than I gave her credit for. We were hoodwinked to the very end. But she slipped. There is one vital hint to the truth in her testimony. What are you talking about? Think back to when she told us about apprehending the suspect. The chief prosecutor tried to resist, but her efforts were in vain. She knocked my hands aside, kicked over an oil drum. Oh, she's beautiful, but deadly. A predator, this one. A leopard woman. Rawr. I don't think we needed that bit. I thought that was a strange thing for the normally cool-headed chief to do. No kidding. Now, witness, allow me to ask a very simple question. This oil drum, was it empty? Oh, that. I'm not sure I like your attitude, Mr. Edgeworth. Though apparently you're not the slowest conveyor belt in the lunchbox factory. Witness, well, was the oil drum empty? The oil drum kicked over by the chief prosecutor was brimming with water. Water? What does that mean? Still don't get it, Mr. Wright? Do you want to know the reason she knocked it over? The real reason? Ah! You don't mean... Yes, the suspect knocked over that oil drum for one reason, and one reason alone. To erase the bloodstains that would become evidence against her. Whoa! That ties things up quite nicely. The bloodstains left on the victim's shoes tie her quite clearly to this murder. Then, after the deed was done, she knocked over the oil drum to erase the telltale signs. Why, that's a prosecutor's speciality, erasing evidence. That reminds me, Miss Sky's right hand was hurt. Didn't she say she'd cut herself when she stabbed him? So that's when my sister's blood got on the shoe? Well, I see no reason to prolong this trial. Mr. Wright, do something, please! Well, we'll do something. Well, we'll do something next episode. We seem to be coming up to a very critical point yet again. Always the best time to cliffhanger, isn't it? I imagine so. Comments will be brimming full of hate. Hate, hate, hate! But we're getting further, and we got ourselves an undeserved strike, I'd have to say. I was along the right lines, but with that parking stub, maybe I'm on the right lines in other ways too. Join me next time on Phoenix Wright, where maybe we'll find out. Or maybe we'll find out down the line. I do not know. Will it come true? Did you guys get it? I wonder. See you then. Bye-bye.